Tonight, we discuss some stats that may surprise you. Let's talk Ravens with Yolanda. Today's video, we are going to discuss each player that makes up the offensive line. Good evening, Ravens flock. Welcome into the channel. I hope everyone is doing well. Let me start by saying that tonight's show was supposed to be a recap of the game, but last night, Hendo and I, or early in the wee hours of this morning, Hendo and I decided to go live and recap the game. So I'm like, well, I already have a live stream planned, so what can we talk about? Well, I found some really interesting stats that surprised me, shocked me a little bit. And I said, well, let's get on here, share some of these stats, see if they surprise you as well. Before we jump into tonight's show, I want to say hello. I see you, Osmond. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. Thank you. I just want to take a few moments to, and I probably will say this again later on as other people come through the stream, but today we hit 1,000 subscribers this morning. And I was in tears. I was overjoyed. I didn't know this was going to happen so quickly, but it did. And it's because of you. It's really because you come support me week in, week out, and it means a lot. Your support is everything. It's the reason that I keep doing what I'm doing here on YouTube. Good evening, Frank. I was just sharing with everyone that today we reached 1,000 subscribers, and I started this channel back in February of this year, not knowing what to expect. Just, okay, I'm going to make a channel about something that I really love, something that I care about, and we'll see what happens along the way. And because of your support, your kindness, your faithfulness, and because you come here and we love to talk Ravens, the good and the not so good, we've grown this channel now to over 1,000 subscribers. So thank you, Osmond. I see you, Hendo from the Rogue Pod. Thank you. Tonight, we are just going to be here for a little while, unless there's something that you want to talk about specifically, but I've already done the recap of the game. We did that last night. I'll be sure to link it in the description box below. But this is something I saw online. It was a repeat several different times as I was on X this morning. And I said, wow, this is really interesting. Some player stats that I just had to share. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. The first one, we'll start with the obvious. And I see my mom. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mom, for joining. The first player, it should come as no surprise. It's Lamar Jackson. Can I just take a little bit of time to really gush over our quarterback? He's doing some amazing things. And I think about all that he went through in his, childhood, growing up, losing his father and losing his grandmother, and to see him being raised by his mom, and the story of triumph where in the face of adversity and doubt and even disbelief, even up to this very moment, people still disbelieve who he is, who he is as a person and as a player. Thank you so very, very much. Hendo from the Rogue Pod donated. Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. 25, 30-minute stream. You got it. Absolutely. But looking at some of his stats, and I'll share my screen really quickly, just so that you can see some of the very impressive things that Lamar has accomplished in such a very, very short time. According to ML Football, they said that insane Ravens QB Lamar Jackson has beaten star quarterbacks Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, and Baker Mayfield in 5 consecutive games. 15 touchdowns, 1,578 yards. He's the GOAT. He absolutely is. Lamar Jackson is on a historic run. Wow. So glad he is my quarterback. So glad. And Osmond said, for Lamar, take all the time you want. I do. If I did, we'd be here like Hendo suggested. We'd be here for 2 hours. But looking at this and seeing it in real time, that, wow, people are taking note. Whether you want to recognize it or not, you're going to have to, because here, the evidence, the stats don't lie. And it's beautiful to see the recognition that he's getting because of the contribution that he's made to this game. Another stat that I wanted to show really quickly about Lamar. This one, perhaps, really was the shocker to me. It was, because when I saw it, I said, oh, goodness, wow, he's something. Look at this, really. Again, the Ravens posted this. This is insane. The word that we're hearing about Lamar Jackson, he is insane. And the types of numbers that he's putting up, insane. Most career games with 5 or more touchdowns and 0 interceptions. Lamar Jackson, as a starter, in only 84 games, is right up there among the ranks of those who are the best to have ever done it in the league of all time. In 84 games, number of games that Lamar has had 5 or more touchdowns and 0 interceptions, 5. 3 times as many games played by Drew Brees, he has 8. And Tom Brady, we all know that he is what I would call one of, if not the best, quarterbacks ever. In 333 games, he has 8. So Lamar Jackson is doing amazing things. This one, when I looked at this, he's tied with Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, and Ben Roethlisberger with only a fraction of the amount of games as a starter. That's really, really impressive. Wow. Look what we have at the helm. Look who we have as our QB1. Very, very impressive. I do want to say hello to my Crafty Adventures. Hi there. Good evening. Thank you so much for being here. I got a chance to meet her in person. I went to Creator Camp. That's where I was last week. And I know you didn't see me a lot here on the channel, but I was plugged in learning how to become a better content creator. And I had the pleasure of meeting my Crafty Adventures last week. So thank you for joining. But looking at Lamar Jackson, one other thing, another stat that we can add to his sheet, his tally sheet. Lamar Jackson is a skilled blocker. How about Lamar Jackson blocking for Derrick Henry downfield? Who would have thought it? But I saw it, and I'm sure if you watched the game, you saw it too. Wonderful to see that, like, he is so multifaceted. I would have never thought Lamar Jackson as a blocker. And when they asked Derrick Henry about it post game, you could see he was blushing. He was just blushing. He said, yeah, like he's one of one. He really is. And, gosh, wow, how far this team can go. If only the secondary, if only our defense. I'm not on that tonight. Nope. We talked about that last night. So I promise I'm not going to promise, because I just might, because if somebody wants to talk about it, then we will. But if our QB and the weapons that we have continue to connect, fire on all cylinder, who says the Ravens cannot win the Super Bowl this year? Who says that? Because I heard somewhere that, let's say the Ravens were playing the Chiefs now. I know we played them in week 1. We came in second place. I don't like to say that we lost, but we came in second place. But if we were to play them now, week 8, I believe wholeheartedly it would be a different outcome. Absolutely believe that. Let me know in the chat if you disagree or if you agree with me. But at this point, who can stop this Ravens offense right now? I'm thinking of all the teams that have elite defenses, and, you might be able to slow us down a little bit if their defense has a solid ability, if their strong ability to stop the run, maybe you can slow us down just a bit. But because we're so versatile on offense, that's what's amazing to me right now. And who would have thought, right, that we would be sitting here like singing the praises of the Baltimore Ravens offense as being one of the best right now in the NFL. I would not have thought that, because we consider all of the years now that Lamar Jackson has been in the league and what types of weapons has he had. I'll just leave that right there. But we add Derrick Henry to the picture. We drafted 2 years ago Zay Flowers, and we're seeing now a healthy Rashod Bateman. So this offense, we're spot on. Just need to clean up a few things like we talked about last night, the penalties and, like the O-line. Okay, we're going to keep this positive tonight. The next player that I wanted to kind of sing his praises and just look at some of his stats in terms of what he's been able to do. The next one, of course, you already know, none other than Derrick Henry. Look at this. So Derrick Henry, during the Ravens' 5-game win streak, these numbers are, I keep saying the word insane because that's what's being used to describe these numbers, but 109 touches, 793 total yards. This man is on pace to have well over 2,000 yards rushing this year at this rate. Well over 2,000 yards. 413 yards after contact. When Derrick Henry gets beyond the second level, good luck trying to tackle him. I wish you all the best. And one thing that I keep hearing about Derrick Henry and defenders, when Derrick Henry gets that speed and he builds up the speed and he's going, you as a defender, you might make a business decision. Grown men out here having to make business decisions at that point. What will it be like when it's cold? When it's freezing cold outside and teams have to play us in Baltimore and you don't want to make contact at that point. You don't even want to make contact when it's freezing cold, let alone Derrick Henry. He's a massive man. This man is huge. But 413 yards after contact, 15 rushes of 10 yards or 10 or more yards, 20 missed tackles that he's forcing, 8 total touchdowns. Yes, Derrick Henry has always been a problem. He certainly has, but it was interesting to hear people kind of say, when we were deciding whether the Ravens were going to bring him in, or, were we going to bring in Derrick Henry? What were we going to do? What was our plan? And the kind of chatter that I was hearing is, oh, he's over 30, or he was nearing 30, or he's not the same Derrick Henry that he used to be, and he's borderline washed, and you should have gone with someone younger, a Saquon Barkley, or you should have gone with someone else. And there was all of that. And to see Derrick Henry just come in, put his head down, get to work, plug into this team, and really want to contribute to the Ravens # chasing the Lombardi, it's beautiful to see. So those stats to me, wow, in unison with Lamar Jackson, that's what I think really makes us so difficult to defend. Because when you are looking down, you're staring down this offense, and you as a defender, you don't know whether it's going to be a run. You don't know if it's going to be a pass. You're not sure what the Ravens are really about to do because we've been able to keep the defense guessing. That's the secret. And because we have the right tools and the right weapons, this is what causes us to be, I don't want to say unstoppable, but certainly a very dangerous offensive team. So I want to take a couple of comments really quickly to a few have joined in the chat. Frank G. Life, thank you for being here. Derrick Henry can over a game. Let me know what you mean. Frank G says, because he is with a winning team. Yes, that's the difference. Great point. I think that is the difference. When you are with a winning team that really, I'm hoping the culture is right now in the Ravens that we want to win the Super Bowl this year. When you are with a team that has that mindset, that mentality, it translates. It certainly does. David Hunt, I also had the pleasure of meeting him last week at Creator Camp. I hope you guys don't play the Patriots. I'll be conflicted. We do not. I don't believe we play the Patriots this year. So that will ease your quiet fright there. I'll say that. Just Ornato, hey there. Thank you for being here. Couple of other players and these next two players that are on my list in terms of what I've seen as stats that were very impressive. These next two players, I made a video maybe a month ago, and I said, what are some of the players that I feel really need to step their game up? Because at that point, we were, 3 games into the season, maybe 4 games into the season, and there really had not been a whole lot of contribution from these next two players. But I have been pleasantly surprised by these next two. I'll start with the first. This one really, and I'll just read it off. I have it written down. I don't have a screen share to share it with you, but the next one is Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews right now holds the franchise record for touchdowns, most career receiving touchdowns in a given season in Ravens history. He has 42. Next to him, the record holder was Todd Heap with 41. It is so good to have Mark Andrews back into the equation. It's so good to have Mark Andrews contributing again. I love that because there was a time after his injury, we didn't see him for many, many weeks. Took him out practically the rest of the season. And then last year we saw him one time, and that was in the AFC Championship game. We all know what happened there. I'm not going to rehash. Remember, this is a positive, delightful stream. Hendo from the Rogue Pod says 43. Tell me what you mean 43. Was it 43 touchdowns? I thought it was 42, but let me know. But to see Mark Andrews back on the field and contribute, because even in this off season, there was questions about how was he in terms of his recovery. He didn't look right in that AFC Championship game. Did he have enough time to rehab, etc.? Well, okay. Then we saw or we heard during the off season that he was doing fine. He was great. No problem, right? And then he gets into a car accident. And the next thing we hear is that he's missing practice. And it's kind of kept under wraps just how significant or impactful this car accident was. And then the first few games of the regular season roll around. Mark Andrews was just not really a part of the equation, if at all. And to that extent, to that end, it was, are we like phasing out Mark Andrews because we have Isaiah Likely? Are we considering putting Mark Andrews as potential trade bait? I didn't know. I said, well, we don't really use him other than blocking. And of course, we could always stand some extra blockers, especially because that O-line still taking its time to gel and to, function cohesively. But other than that, we didn't really see much. And this last game, it was so good to see Mark Andrews back in the end zone. And I think he was in the end zone maybe the game before that as well. But certainly here recently, we've seen him. And I'm very pleased because he was one that I had on my list of those who need to show that they have improved and they have stepped up their game. Last on my list, the last one. This one has been, again, this name I'm about to call was on my list of players that really need to step it up because we hadn't seen much of a contribution consistently. This player is none other than Rashod Bateman. For me, Rashod Bateman was never, and I want to say it and I want to make sure that, it's my thoughts are conveyed correctly. I never had a concern about Rashod Bateman's ability to get open, create separation, whether he was an excellent route runner, whether he could catch the ball. That was not an issue. It was just, could he and Lamar Jackson develop a connection well enough and consistently enough to where when his number is called, and again, we have several playmakers on offense, so any given game, his number may or may not get called that much. But whenever it is, especially in crucial moments on third down, whenever, obvious passing situation, and we need a big play, if we call on Rashod Bateman, I need him to be there. Oh, I did not change my Streamlabs. It says, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Road to 1K. I need to change that. I just saw it. Yes, I definitely need to change that one now. We reached, for those of you who just joined, we reached 1,000 subscribers today, and I'm so excited. Thank you very, very, very much. It's because of your support. You come by. Do me a favor. If you are here and you are enjoying the content and you like what we're doing here, or you want to continue to support the channel, take 2.5, hit the like button for me. Helps the channel a ton. But yes, Bateman, let's have a look really quickly at some of Bateman's stats. And I hope I have the right screen. I think I do. Yes. Look at this. So when I see Rashod Bateman, scroll up here, career night on Monday Night Football for Rashod. 4 receptions, 121 career high, 121 yards, 1 touchdown, 22.1 PPR points, career high for him. Excellent job, Rashod Bateman. Talk about stats that are impressive, that I would not, if you were to have asked me a couple of weeks ago, would we be in a situation where we're looking at stats like this that represent Rashod Bateman's contribution? I might have said, while it's certainly possible, I don't know that it's actually going to happen. So to see Rashod Bateman really come into his own or begin to come into his own is awesome because he is that first round pick and he's just not really lived up to that because of injury and or lack of connection or chemistry. But hopefully all of that is now behind us and we can focus on the positive, build on it, each game get better and better. And who knows? You never know. Rashod Bateman really might be that wide receiver number 2 right behind Zay Flowers that we need him to be. I'm going to take some comments. And then if you have any questions that you just want to talk about, that's pretty much it for me tonight. But if you have anything that you want to discuss, leave a comment in the chat. I'll make sure that I get to it. But I'm just really excited for our team this year. Let me go back up. And David Hunt said, with Lamar and Derrick, the rest of the running back room, yes, we're doing big things. We still have Justice Hill, who had a touchdown this last game, and we should be hearing some news now about Keaton Mitchell, the potential or the possibility of him returning within the next maybe month and a half. Talk about a boost to our running back room. Now, of course, he's coming off of a very serious injury, so we need to, temper expectations and understand that we're not going to give him a lion's share of the work right away. Don Royal, good evening. Zadarius Smith to the Ravens. I want to just talk about that for a moment. I saw that today, Don Royal, where the Ravens are considering or maybe even reaching out for the possibility of Zadarius Smith to the Ravens. I heard also Myles Garrett was another one where the Cleveland Browns were taking phone calls or entertaining phone calls, if you please, for trade offers for Myles Garrett. We really could use some help on our defense right now. I do believe that the defense it's our Achilles heel. And let me say this. I'm glad we're talking about this. Thank you for that. I want to, I can't remember, it was someone who left a comment a little while ago on one of my videos or one of my live streams maybe. And he said, give Zach Orr some grace. I'm paraphrasing because he said, when we had Mike Macdonald his first year, he didn't come out firing on all cylinders. And to his point, that is correct. Mike Macdonald did not come out swinging and, just come out like executing it perfectly or having the players perfectly in position to succeed. You're right. But I think the difference is, and I've said this before, but I'll say it again. I think the difference here is Zach Orr took over an already well-oiled machine. We were one of the best defenses in the league last year. And with the exception of 4 players, we pretty much remained intact. So there wasn't a whole lot of, oh gosh, I have to figure this out. Because when Mike Macdonald took over from Wink Martindale, it was a completely different system, completely different scheme. And he kind of had to start from scratch almost. Whereas Zach Orr doesn't have to start from ground zero. And yes, I am of the belief that, sure, we do need to give him some grace. Of course, we need to, say, okay, this is week now going into week 8. We still have a lot of miscommunication on defense, players not knowing their assignments, players not being in the best position for them to succeed. We don't need to see Roquan dropping into coverage as much as we do. We saw, not in this past game, and maybe not in the last one, but certainly in the beginning of the regular season, we saw Malik Harrison dropping in coverage. For what? for what? That was a complete mismatch. We see that against these elite wide receivers, we don't double team them. We have rookie Nate Wiggins matched up with Devontae Adams. How'd that work out for us? So these are the things that Zach Orr should not have to really struggle to find out how to piece it all together. These are the things that should kind of come pretty easy, with the exception, obviously, of Nate Wiggins because we just drafted him. But the rest of the players figuring out how to use Kyle Hamilton, all of those things kind of, we had the blueprint. So that's kind of my thought. John Parsons, good evening. Happy for Bate. He had a great game on Monday Night Football. Yes, he did. That's what we need to see. We need to see more of that. Couple more comments and then we will go. Zico Kage, good evening. Hope you're doing well. And Just Tornado said, Bateman said the media needs to quit hating on him and his connection with Lamar. Bateman called him fake news. He did. Bateman heard what we were saying about him. He's like, I'm tired of this. Stop talking about me. Quit. We have a question from David Hunt. Wide receiver Cooper Kupp is on the trading block. 2nd round pick to the Ravens. This is a good question. Great question. And if you were to have asked that question maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I think my answer would have been a resounding, absolutely, Cooper Kupp. Trade him, whatever the draft capital they want, send it along and bring Cooper Kupp in. But what we've seen over the last couple of weeks is an offense that really is finding its stride, and they're functioning very well. To bring in another weapon, do we need it? Probably not. Would it help us? Of course it would. But I think right now, from what I see, and please let me know in the chat if you agree or disagree with this, I see a bigger need come trade deadline. I see a bigger need at either O-line or edge or secondary. Those would be the three I would focus on. So although Cooper Kupp would be like, take our offense to like the next level, absolutely he would. But I think right now we need to kind of put all of our resources, because I think we only have $4 million over the cap. So we are we are limited. Okay. We are very limited in our bank account. So we need to use our resources and our draft capital wisely. And I think that Cooper Kupp would be a great addition, but don't know that he's a necessity. Osmond said, some of our defensive players seem to be too tentative, thinking too much, unsure what to do. But now, once this is fixed, then we will be unstoppable. Osmond, let me know in this situation, and this is a good comment, is this more, in your opinion, on the players, or is this more on the coach? Because we didn't see this type of hesitancy from our secondary and our defensive players last year. What we see out of Roquan this year, the miscues, not knowing his assignment, we didn't see that. Roquan took the field and he knew exactly what he was supposed to do and he understood the assignment. We're not seeing that type of confidence from him right now. Wraith Kingdom, good evening. I am the one was against Bate. We not about to act like he didn't deserve the backlash that came to him. He's a first round pick and we took him 3 to 4 seasons to play the way he's playing now. Agreed. It took him a while to get here, but let's just hope that since he's here, Rave, we keep seeing more of it, because that's what we need. We need those big moments, and we need to have a reliable offensive weapon for Lamar in those crucial moments. John Parsons says Zadarius would be great and affordable too, but he has said he wants to be a Lion so he can play against the Vikings. But who knows? Yeah, who knows? Money talks. It sure does. Money talks. Not that we have a whole lot to talk about and talk with, but we'll see. Texas Outlaw Mark, it's not good enough. It's basically the same guys except PQ and Clowney. That's right. Exactly. So we didn't really lose a ton. We did lose, I will say this now, we did lose Geno Stone, and I know he went down with an injury and he was carted off over the weekend. I hope prayers go out to him and all of the other players who are, dealing with an injury now. Hope and pray that they recover and recover soon. I don't like to ever see any player get injured. I want both teams to be at their absolute best so that when the Ravens beat them, it's not, well, it's because we were missing our star so-and-so. No. But yes, to your point, we did lose Geno Stone, who last year, in terms of interceptions, he was great for us. He was great. Because if we look at the players that we have now, how many of them are creating turnovers consistently? I know last night, Marlon Humphrey, hope he is okay. He's one of our better members of the secondary right now. We need Marlon to be okay. But he had those 2 interceptions. Besides that, you have Nate Wiggins, who just can't get the ball. He just, he sees it. He knows it's for him, but he just can't do it. Brandon Stevens. So in terms of, we lost PQ and Clowney, those were I think the big ones, but we also to a lesser degree lost a person who I think in Geno Stone could come in and really help get some turnovers that we're just right now not doing. Yes, Deontay, how are you? Secondary needs help, specifically safety. Yeah. But the problem I have, Deontay, is who we're going to get. Who are we going to get? What safety are we going to bring in at the trade deadline? And what draft package do we give for them? Because we certainly don't have a lot of power or prowess, if you please, in Eddie Jackson, Marcus Williams. So, there's that. But yeah, certainly our safety room can stand some assistance. Calling you to the front office, safeties, come right on over, come to the principal's office. We need to have a word with you. Deshaun, good evening. Thank you for being here. I see you, Big Reg. Good evening. Yes, Osman, we lost some very good coaches. And if you take a look at what those coaches are now doing as defensive coordinators in their respective organizations, we can tell how good they were for us last year. Agree. I disagree because the defense is fine. I think Zach Orr is just bad right now. I think for playoffs, we might need to get a solidified catcher. I don't know that our defense is fine. And, reasonable minds can differ, but we're making too many mistakes that we didn't make last year. And that could be to your point that, okay, this might be coaching. Panthers don't mind trading Jadeveon Clowney. Seattle is looking at him. I messaged a friend of mine today who is a Panthers YouTuber, and I said, look, by the way, if you guys are having a fire sale, can you please send Jadeveon Clowney back our way? We'll take him gladly. Little Joker, glad at least one of my teams in purple won. Little Joker, I thought about you over the weekend. I did. He is a Vikings fan, but he's also now, since watching the channel, he's a Ravens fan, so that's good. But yes, I thought about the Vikings over the weekend. I watched the Vikings and I thought about you. That was a tough one. The Lions are scary good. Let's be honest. The Lions are scary good. They are very good. Osmond said, let's give Kane a chance. Yeah, Sanusi Kane, Bo Braid. But we don't give them a chance. So we really don't know what they have. And then two, because they're rookies, it probably is going to take some time for them to really get acclimated to the speed and the adjustments of the game. And we're already in week 8. So we should have been giving them some time, maybe week 2, week 3, maybe week 4. So Deshaun said Ravens need to sign Ed Reed for the secondary coach. We need to do something. Yeah, the Vikings are going to be okay. I agree. I think the Vikings are going to be fine. But if the Browns are going to give up Myles Garrett, that's what I heard. We shall see. Ladies, gentlemen, thank you for being here again. Huge thank you to you for helping us to achieve the goal of 1,000 subscribers. I will change that from Streamlabs before the next show. But we are at 1,000 subscribers, and I could not be more appreciative. I also am very, very grateful to Tom Grassi and the Grassi Posse came through yesterday's stream and in a very surprising but pleasant way, rated the channel, subscribed, and helped us to get over that 1,000 subscriber mark. So there we go. Clowney is not having a great year. He has 1 sack and 2 QB hits. He might not be having a great year, but the argument could be made, John, that prior to coming to the Ravens, had he been having good or great years? No. Because what did we hear last year when he joined the Ravens? Oh, man, we're seeing a resurgence of Jadeveon Clowney. This is like his second chance at becoming just that dominant force that he is known to be. And he kind of fell off over the last couple of years. And so you just never know. Change of environment can do that for players sometimes. Well, I will see you. Oh, wait, I have to read this one and then I promise I'm going to get out of here. Thank you, My Crafty Adventures. Have a good night to you. Our defense is trash. We have veterans not going after the rock, scared to be tackled. Hence, Eddie Jackson, Marcus Williams need to be benched, but also need pressure up front. Yeah. I think our pressure up front interior pressure has been okay. It's been pretty good. Our ability to stop the run, it's been very good. We just need our edge rushers. Kyle Van Noy, my guy, Odafe Owe, David Ajabo. We just need them to wake up. And now we have Yannick Ngakoue. We just need them to come alive and kind of do what we expect them to do. Apply pressure, but not only that, be able to sack the quarterback, and we'll be just fine. I will see you all very, very soon. Thank you again. And I will be back on Thursday. You guys are seeing a lot of me this week. Wow, I go to creator camp and then I come back and then you guys get me like 2, 3, 4 times a week, but that's fine because I have a blast. So I will be back on Thursday night at 7. Is it 7 or 7:30? I don't know. I think it's 7:30. Just turn on your post notifications so that you're not you don't miss content when it's released on this channel. I will see you all then. Until that time, you take care, you stay safe, and always remember, go Ravens. Yes. God bless.